Okay, we're going to continue on in our Father's Word today, but first, I want to read to you what Bullinger says about the Urim and the Thummim. No command of God to make these, only told to put them, Nathan to give them in the breastplate, into the bag of the breastplate. The bag was a double part, and the Urim and the Thummim were probably two precious stones which were drawn out as a lot to give Jehovah's judgment. The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole judgment thereof is of the Lord. The bosom here is put for the clothing or the covering over. Any hollow thing has a chariot. The Hebrew Urim Thummim means lights and perfections in Hebrew. Probably these are the plurals of majesty. They sing, light being put by the metame of what is brought to light, and perfection for moral perfection. Thus these two placed in the bag and one drawn out would give the judicial decision, the name connected with the breastplate, which would be of the Lord. Hence the breastplate itself was known as the breastplate of judgment, because by that Jehovah's judgment was obtained whenever it was needed. Hence when the land was divided by lot, Eleazar the high priest must be present when he would decide in the lot which came up and came forth and came out. No judgment could be given unless the high priest was present with the breastplate, with its bag, with the lots of Urim and Thummim, which gave Jehovah's decision, guilty or innocent, yes or no. So all you could do with the Urim and the Thummim was to ask God, should we go into this land and war against these people or not? And God would give the judgment. He would tell them. He would tell the high priest. Now when Moses was there, Moses went into the tabernacle and talked directly to God through the east gate, through Judah. Yeah, Moses went into the tabernacle and he talked to God up on Mount Sinai when God was in the form of the burning bush. So as long as Moses was there, Moses could talk directly to God. But when Moses passed on, the Urim and the Thummim was a yea or nay, yes or no, as to whenever there was a question given to the high priest, and that's what they used. They had that breastplate with 12 different stones representing the 12 tribes of Israel. And that breastplate had these stones, the Urim and the Thummim, that went right over the high priest Aaron's heart. So that's where it was located at. And he had an ephod, a special coat that he wore. And that's how Aaron, or the high priest Eleazar, talked to God. Now, I want to start here in Exodus 28 and verse 28. And they shall bind the breastplate by the rings thereof unto the rings of the ephod. The ephod was a jacket, the special woven jacket that the high priest wore, with a lace of blue that it may be above the curious girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate may be not loosened from the ephod. And Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart, when he goeth in unto the holy place, for a memorial before the Lord continually. And thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment, the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart when he goeth before the Lord, and Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before the Lord continually. And thou shalt make the robe of the ephod all of blue, and there shall be a hole in the top of it, in the midst thereof. It shall have a binding of woven work around the hole of it, as were the hole of a habergeon. That's a 12-sided piece, that it be not rent. And beneath upon the hem of it thou shalt make pomegranates of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet round about the hem thereof, and the bells of gold between them round about. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate, upon the hem of the road round about. And it shall be upon Aaron the minister, and his sound shall be heard when he goeth in into the holy place, before the Lord, and when he cometh out, that he die not. And thou shalt make a plate of pure gold, and grave upon it like the engravings of a signet, holiness to the Lord. And thou shalt put on it a blue lace, that it may be upon the mitre. Upon the forefront of the mitre it shall be. And it shall be upon Aaron's forehead, that Aaron may bear the iniquity of the holy things, which the children of Israel shall hallow in all their holy gifts. And it shall be always upon his forehead, that they may be accepted before the Lord. And thou shalt embroider the coat of fine linen, and thou shalt make the mitre of fine linen, and thou shalt make the girdle of needlework. And for Aaron's sons thou shalt make coats, and thou shalt make for them girdles, and bonnets shall they make for them, for glory and for beauty. And thou shalt put them upon Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him, and shall anoint them, and consecrate them, and sanctify them, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt make them linen breeches, to cover their nakedness. From the loins even unto their thighs they shall reach. And they shall be upon Aaron and upon his sons when they come into the tabernacle of the congregation, or when they come near unto the altar to minister in the holy place, that they bear not iniquity and die. It shall be a statute forever unto him, and his seed after him. Now, this is Exodus chapter 29. And this is the thing that thou shalt do unto them to hallow them, to minister unto me in the priest's office. Take one young bullock, and 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened bread and cakes, unleavened, tempered with oil, and wafers, unleavened, anointed with oil. Of wheaten flour shalt thou make them. And thou shalt put them into one basket, and bring them in the basket with the bullocks and the 2 rams. And Aaron and his sons thou shalt bring unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shalt wash them with water. And thou shalt take the garments, and put upon Aaron the coat, and the robe of the ephod, and the ephod, and the breastplate, and gird him with curious girdle of the ephod. And thou shalt put the mitre upon his head, and put the holy crown upon the mitre. And thou shalt take the anointing oil, and pour it on his head, and anoint him. And thou shalt bring his son, and put coats upon them. And thou shalt gird them with girdles, Aaron and his sons, and put the bonnets on them. And the priest's office shall be theirs for a perpetual statute. And thou shalt consecrate Aaron and his sons. And thou shalt cause a bullock to be brought before the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron and his sons shall put their hands upon the neck, upon the head of the bullock. And thou shalt kill the bullock before the Lord by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And thou shalt take of the blood of the bullock, and put it upon the horns of the altar with thy finger, and pour all the blood beside the bottom of the altar. And thou shalt take all the fat that covereth the innards, and the caul that is above the liver, and the 2 kidneys,